Okay. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Joshua here. Hello. I'm your host for Authentic Intent. Today I got a doozy for you, so strap up, get yourselves ready for a deep hole we're gonna dig down. I'm gonna touch on a lot of conspiratorial stuff. You're not gonna agree with it by any stretch of the imagination. But what I hope to do is help you kind of see where I go sometimes. I don't trust a lot of things that we experience here in this reality. And I guess through a lot of experience and what I see in TV, on movies, politics, and kind of the like, it has led me to doubt a lot of stuff that I see. So what I want to do is invite you into my world here for a little bit. I hope that my presentation at least helps you think a little bit and question your reality and your worldview on how things have been prescribed to us here in this reality through school, particularly in our education, and how we build up the political field and Hollywood and everybody that we really feel like kind of are out of reach from us. And so as we dig down this deep rabbit hole, I hope to let you understand more about me and why I do what I do. I really appreciate everybody that has come by today to watch the protests that were going on. This will have some copyrighted material in it. This will be used for educational purposes to inform and bring my perspective and opinion on what I believe to be true. And I encourage anybody out in the chat room to raise their hand if they got any questions. I hope to maybe, if you're up to it, I have a Google Hangout so we can have some people on the panel, if that's something that you all want to do. I know that sometimes I might give off the aura that I kind of do this on my own, but I do enjoy having dialogue with other people because it helps me think and the conversation goes smoothly. So let's dive right in for this episode of Authentic Intent. I will start everybody off with a movie that I watched yesterday. I encourage everybody to kind of check it out, and you'll have a better understanding of where I'm at right now. Just couldn't really stop talking about it. It's a movie called Looker. It's made by Michael Crichton. It's from 1981, and it has some very, very, very provocative information in it. I won't ruin it too much for you, but I will say this, that for me to explain it well enough for you, I do have to kind of give you a little bit of synopsis. I'm not going to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for you, but I will kind of give you the basis of my foundation and try to hopefully help you understand. It is definitely the transhumanism movement, salted cedar. So in this movie, there is a doctor who is a plastic surgeon, and there are models involved, females who do commercials. And something is happening to the models, and the doctor and one of his patients, the female lead, end up going to this company. And so what happens, just kind of give you a little bit of a rundown, she is brought into this computer system that scans her body, and she's in this computer kind of capsule, if you will, and it's doing its computer thing. It's really getting a good idea of what this female looks like and sounds like. Okay? So as it's kind of doing the scans here, it's kind of mapping out her territory. And kind of the reason behind this is the company that is experiencing, this various trying to get all the models. That's basically it's trying to get perfection is really what it's trying to do. And so these females go to this plastic surgeon, right, to get even 4 millimeters of skin adjusted so that they have a better look to them on the computer algorithm that is studying their movements during these commercials. And they also have a way to run their commercials, and then there's a group of people, like 10 or 15 people in these cubicles that have these eye masks on. And as the commercial is running, the computer is able to analyze where a person's eyes are focusing most on. And what it's noticing is that the people's eyes who are in the study aren't necessarily focusing on the product, more so the look and experience of the commercial, the look of the actors in the commercial, if you will. And so through this, basically so here's kind of the, might ruin it for some people, so cover your ears here. What it's doing is it's creating a hologram of these actresses and these actors. And so as this movie starts to play out, the bad guys end up, being found out. And towards the end, it's kind of revealed that everything that you're seeing on TV in this reality, in this movie, is a hologram. And so it kind of blew my mind personally. So my opinion on this movie, I thought it was very ahead of its time. 1981 is when this movie was released. It's called Looker. So I just encourage anybody to check it out. I did get it off of Amazon. It was a $3 rental. No, it's not. It's not on Netflix, but it is on Amazon Prime. So I am part of the Matrix in that regard. But it does give me an opportunity to watch movies and try to get a better understanding of kind of the feel of what's going on. So from that, I watched a video last year that dealt with a company that is called Face to Face.
We present a novel real-time facial reenactment method that works with any commodity webcam. Since our method only uses RGB data for both the source and target actor, we are able to manipulate YouTube videos in real time. Here we demonstrate our method in a live setup. On the right, a source actor is captured with a standard webcam. This input drives the animation of the face in the video shown on the monitor to the left. A significant difference to previous methods is the re-rendering of the mouth interior. To this end, we resynthesize the mouth interior of the target actor using video footage from the training sequence based on temporal and photometric similarity. As we can see, we are able to generate a realistic and convincing reenactment result. Here we show a close-up of the footage from the previous live reenactment. The input video stream is shown on the left. Note that the target actor is re-rendered in a neutral pose. On the right, we can see the final output of our method.
So what do you think about that? My jaw dropped, and I saw this last year. I wish I would have seen it earlier. Clearly, this has been going on for quite a long time. So, if they came up with this idea in 1981, right? I was born in 1981. So, 36 years later, I come across, 35 years later, I come across this, and I really started to seriously doubt a lot of what I see on mainstream media. I think that they use blue screens a lot more than what we give them credit for about the realism that they show us. And the quote actors that they have on here are highly questionable. Angel Raven says, I graduated in 81. Chess was born in 81. Good. Himawari was born in 1991. This is definitely cringeworthy, Morky. This is fascinating. This was really fascinating to me to see.
Our system reconstructs and tracks both source and target actors using a dense photometric energy minimization. Using a novel subspace deformation transfer technique, we transfer the expressions from the source to the target actor. This allows us to obtain a modified face template of the target actor according to the expressions of the source actor. We now re-render the modified face on top of the target sequence in order to replace the original facial expressions. Here we show additional live sequences where we reenact various YouTube videos.
So, this is bringing me to kind of my next point. Here is another website that is tied into this type of technology. And this is called When Seeing and Hearing Isn't Believing. So in this article, there is a narrative at the beginning of the paragraphs that says, Gentlemen, we have called you together to inform you that we are going to overthrow the United States government. This statement was by General Carl W. Steiner, former Commander-in-Chief, U.S. Special Operations Command. It says that the voice sounded amazingly like him. Okay? So, his voice sounds amazingly like him, and then when you put in this effect here, where do you think I'm going with this? What is real? So that's Putin, right, in the back, and that's just John Smith. What happens when John Smith is a highly paid actor with correct facial movements and tone of voice? Earth Flattener says, I was a fat kid, so when I did the worm, I looked like a caterpillar from A Bug's Life. How sad. Hey, Ron Fig. So I'm just trying to, put the feelers out. Here's Donald Trump. So my idea of connecting that movie Looker and seeing what you see here, what is real? What is going on here? This is a complete and utter, we're being lied to. Basically, let's just cut to the chase. I can't convey to my fellow human beings how deceived you and I are, and we don't even know it.
In order to evaluate our approach, we perform a cross-validation based on optical flow. To this end, we retrieve mouth interiors from the first half of the video. The second half is used for evaluation queries. As we can see, our re-rendering error is very low. Our method introduces a new RGB face tracking pipeline, which we compare against state-of-the-art real-time face tracking methods. Here we show a comparison against Kao et al. And Tees et al. Note that Tees et al. Is based on RGBD data, whereas Kao et al. And our method require only RGB input. Here we show another tracking comparison to FaceShift 2014, which relies on RGBD data. We present a novel real-time facial reenactment although our method is RGB only, we achieve similar tracking quality.
I'm gradually putting the links in the description section below.
In contrast to real-time tracking methods, we also compare against the offline tracking algorithm of Shi et al. Note that Shi et al. Perform additional geometric refinement using shading cues. We now compare our approach against previous reenactment approaches. Here we show the scenario of a translator animating another person. Note that our approach runs in real time, while Garrido et al. Works offline. Here we show a comparison to Tees et al. Who rely on RGBD data. Both methods produce similar reenactment results. However, note that Tees et al. Uses a geometric teeth proxy, which leads to artificially shaped mouth regions. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so there that is. What do you think about that? That is from this website called Face to Face. My idea of presenting this information to everybody comes from the movie Looker. And you can check it out on Amazon right now if you want to. It's about an hour and a half long movie. So this movie is available to rent. You can't buy it, but I do highly suggest you watch it. It's a $3 rental. It's not a big deal. I mean, you could even go out and buy it. It would be definitely a good investment to check out to get a good idea of the predictive programming that they were giving us all the way back in 1981. That's when this movie came out. So, hey, you're welcome, Charm. Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, Himawari, this really is unimaginable to us. Like, our mind, at least my mind, wouldn't go to the level of deception that these people are bringing us to. I have been watching some 9/11 videos here recently, and I've seen some amazing opinions regarding what really hit those towers. And there's no level at which these people will deceive, and they will do it particularly through TV and your own personal, webcam or laptop. Anything that they can use to try to brainwash you and manipulate your mind to deceive you into believing something that's not true. So thanks everybody for checking out that. Yeah, Minnesota Island, thermite for sure was used, but I'll also tell you that no airplanes hit those towers. So I do have some information regarding those claims. There is another website that I would like to share with you here regarding 9/11 and manipulation of voice morphing. This website is in the description section below. Also, it's called Soundevidence. And there have been some, clearly some period. I'm just trying to think of the word. Just like funny coincidences. How they were able to line up these cell phone calls that happened as the Pennsylvania airplane was crashing. And so there is that section here, voice morphing and 9/11. The alleged government conspiracy. So this is a good article to get a better understanding of how artificial intelligence is used to really deceive us into thinking something is really happening and it's not. And our ears, as we continue to mature, you're able to sense the vibration of somebody lying to you or not. At least I feel like I have a better understanding of how that has been able to be discerned in my heart. And even most of the time through chat, I feel fairly confident that I can tell an honest person from somebody who's not honest. And you just... Yeah, Himawari, we do need sound doctrine. We need a foundation that's built on truth. And we can't always depend on ourselves and our senses to an extent. We do need spiritual help. And if we have true spiritual help, you'll be able to get a better understanding of artificial intelligence and a real human being speaking. So sometimes I watch President Trump speak, and I don't know. I do have some other things I'd like to share with you, but if you'd like to come into the chat room panel and voice your opinions on this, I put my email address up, so you can check that out, and we can kind of go from there. But the next thing I'd like to share with everybody is... Okay. Another thing that I question about the sky is there is a company called Ale. It's a Japanese startup company. It's been out for a number of years now. But what they do is they create fake shooting stars. So there you go. If they're telling us this now, how long has this been really going on for? Halley's Comet? Right? Meteor showers that they're able to predict that are going to come? Because in this community, we understand that there might not be there's not outer space, so there might be a dome over us. So how is it that these lights in the sky are shooting across the sky? Military aircraft, sure. What other deceptions are they giving us? And so here's the article. It's going to be in the link or the description section below. This Japanese space startup company, Ale, which I'm sure is an acronym for something, is getting ready to deploy a satellite, right, into orbit, which will enable the company to paint the sky with artificial meteors. The company plans to launch its first meteor shower in 2018. Which I'm sure they've been doing this for decades, just like recently how Harvard is given a $20 million contract to pollute our skies, basically officially saying that they have been chemtrailing us and now they're just openly admitting it. But they're doing it through the guise of some kind of scientific discovery and study. So with that being said, check this out. Japanese company Ale just so happens to possibly be in line step with the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. This article will also be in the link in the description section below. And from what I understand, this company also has contracted your ability to have a small little meteor shower for your daughter or your wife. Wouldn't that be great? Have her step outside and tell her to look up in the sky and there's a meteor shower going on in her favorite colors. Very peculiar indeed. So this Japanese research company Ale is bidding to create an artificial meteor shower for the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Tokyo in 2020. The project Sky Canvas goes beyond your average fireworks display. It involves launching a satellite into space loaded with about 50 to 100 source particles that become ingredients for a shooting star, and the company explains. So here's their promotional video. Let's check it out. And while we're at it, let's count how many sixes there are in this. Right? I mean, come on. There's 3 sixes in that emblem too. What do you think? What do they think they're doing? I mean, seriously. So, what do you think about that? Am I blowing people's minds right now? I know some of you might be privy to this, but now when you look up in the sky and you see a meteor shower, quote, shooting star, I'm just telling you, you got to start doubting everything you see in this reality until you see it in person. Like me. I mean, I know a lot of you guys and girls watch me when I go live. I try to be as on point with my YouTube channel as possible so that you guys know that I am the real deal. But this is unbelievable to me. This is really getting out of hand, in my opinion. The deception runs deep, folks. Bella says, I'm hoping for the invasion scenario. Aliens are cool. Yeah. Go as far as your 7D technology. I hope everybody's familiar with 7D technology and how they plan on using possibly Project Bluebeam in this little scenario. A lot of the videos that I have saved for your 7D technology have been deleted in my playlist. So a lot of the videos that I do have an opportunity to share in the past have been deleted because for whatever reason, really. I don't know why. But I'll give you a quick example of how the establishment is using such information in your Here's your 7D technology. See that? He's on a dome, folks. That tiger was on a dome. There's your sky. There's your planet Nibiru coming closer and closer to Earth, folks. This is 8K technology also. This is the highest definition possible. The link of this will be in the description section below too. This is one of the very few videos that I have of this available. This is inside a mall, folks. Question everything from now on, please. You're being deceived. You do not know what is real when you see it on TV. Shaking my head. This is unbelievable. That's what your children's children are going to be looking at until we start doing something about this. This type of manipulation and deception needs to be stopped because they're doing it to us through our television. They want to do it to us and our children as this next generation grows up. Okay? Yeah, the sheep won't know how to differentiate between the two. Yeah, they are. Ace McCloud says, AI, bro, your pupils are dilated to the max. Yeah, they are, because I'm awake right now, man. I got a nice little orange. I got a orange San Pellegrino, my man. And I got a sandwich here. Cheers. I'm just trying to wake people up, that's all. To wake people up, I gotta be awake. We gotta be at the cutting edge of the assault on our human minds right now. And some of this stuff just really irritates me, that people can't believe anybody would be this evil to deceive us and do this. All right, just a second here. Got Richie from Flat Earth Revamped who'd like to join, so hang on just a second, everybody. So yeah, it's high-level deception. They know exactly how to manipulate the human mind, and so it's getting pretty unbelievable. There you go. Oops. I might have opened up one too many windows here. Let me send you one more. my fault, man. Okay. This one's for real. The one sent at 11 o'clock is for real. So, thanks everybody for coming by. Hope that... Yeah, Charm Fear says, damn, look what we're up against. Yeah. Remote neutral monitoring, supposedly they can bypass optic nerves wirelessly. Yes, they also have voice to skull. Where voice to skull could be used in a Project Bluebeam type of scenario, where they could electronically implant the voice in your language of what you consider to be your God or your prophet. And it would give you the idea that they're invading, if you will. And I've always been on the kick of, you know, Project Bluebeam, Aryan race, you know, whatever race that they plan on sending our way is gonna be a humanoid type of race that's gonna be, you know, their go-to, because they've really implemented the idea of, you know, a white Caucasian Jesus, which I don't agree with at all. And I've noticed if I watch TV, I question what I've woken up to. Yeah, Bella, I can't even watch TV anymore. I don't even know what's real anymore. I mean, even in the movies, you got to watch from a perspective of speculation. Hologram stripper project. Yeah, Truthless, yeah. And that's what a lot of kids, I think, are going to get into is, unfortunately, a lot of kids are going to fall into the trap of creating a female that they desire the most, and she's just going to be a hologram. You know, she's not going to be real. She's always going to do what you want her to do, and she's not going to disagree with you. And kids are trying to create this illusion of, everything for me, and that's a very narcissistic way to go about your business, personally. One more thing, while I sent you that email at 11:02, so that's the proper link channel. There is also another thing that I'd like to, I think kind of ties in to what I'm sharing with everybody tonight, is there is another thing that I want to clear up with everybody about how Google Earth works, okay? If you're not familiar with what Project Loon is, please get familiar with what Project Loon is. I will share with you what that is right here momentarily. Kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
What's up?
Not much.
Not much.
Doing all right? Checking my sound settings.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. We're ready to go. So, what do you think? What do you think about what I was offering?
It's pretty good. A lot of it I've seen before. I've been in this quite a while.
Agreed. Yeah, I really felt it was about
been
that
around.
time to present this. So, how long have you been into this stuff?
Well, I started when I was probably around 20.
Okay.
52 now.
You're 52 now. Okay. Wow.
So, yeah. And I started a website when the internet first started called moonbasealien.com.
Okay.
I paid for myself over all the years. It's still up.
What kind of
And-
information do you share on there?
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everything I've seen, and I haven't updated it in a little while, but some of the links is bad. You know how YouTube's tearing down a lot of videos, so I got to go through it and fix it. But it's been a while since I've been on it and edited it. I use Dreamweaver to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been trying to spread the truth to people for many years. And it just seemed to help.
What are some of your most challenging, like what do the critics say, like the age? What do you think?
I don't know. It's just like, I mean, back in the early days when I started telling people stuff, I started back when, good Lord, but I'm sure David Koresh, you remember all that went on?
Yeah.
Ruby Ridge,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Oklahoma City bombings. I've been through all that. I mean, everything in between that, and then 9/11, and then I spent years on that alone. Shit, probably 11 or 12 years investigating that and telling people about it, and they just don't seem to care. And nowadays, if you talk about 9/11, it's been so long ago that people's like, what's that? Some people don't even know.
I know. Yeah, some people, there's still they can't even get to the Building 7 part. I'm still kind of on the fence about whether people died or not there. I think some people died. I don't know to the extent that they say that they did. And to present everybody with the CGI stuff that they can clearly just fake on TV, the technology that they have now has got to be phenomenal, and it probably does look real. But I know that firefighters died, because they were in the ground zero right away, bringing people out. But to go so as far as to say no planes hit those towers, people, that is blasphemy to them.
Yeah. In my investigations over the years, I would clearly say there was no planes. And as far as the people dying, there was quite a few people probably did die, and a lot of them turned to dust.
Right? Yeah.
They blew to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen an article before of people that it was an article. It didn't stay online long. It was many years ago, and these people said they saw people burst into dust.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you seen the building, everything came down to dust. It turned to dust coming down.
What do you think about the theory of electromagnetic waves also helped? Not just thermite, because clearly it looked like a controlled demolition, but do you think that there might have been some kind of a radiation type wave, some kind of a vibrational force through some kind of a gun or something like that could have helped bring those towers down?
Yes, that's exactly where I went with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was some kind of weapon that we have no idea exists. Added into other stuff just to make it look like a demolition.
Agreed.
Because you've seen the pictures. I mean, a lot of people don't even know this when I tell them. I'm like, did you see the parking lots of the cars that were melted far from the buildings?
Right?
You saw those, right?
Yeah, of course.
Cut a path through these parking lots. It's like they accidentally turned on the machine too early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just started cutting a path through those parking lots, melting cars. Like one car next to another car ain't even touched. The other cars turned to nothing but metal. And then it went down that one street towards the buildings, melted every car and fire truck down that street, and then hit the buildings.
So, what do you think the plan for? 'Cause a lot of people might be hearing this for the first time, so they're definitely probably rolling their eyes. What do you think happened, and why do you think Building 7 was particularly chosen? And clearly, there were a couple other smaller buildings that collapsed also, but let's kind of focus on Building 7 because that has the most controversy surrounding it because it was actually on film. What's his face? I can't remember off the top of my head, but he said pull it, and that's a term that you use for controlled demolition.
Yeah, that was Silverstein.
Silverstein, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I believe that building was brought down. But I believe that was the control central of the actual what was going on there. And then once it was over, they probably a very small amount of people was in that building, and then they left and then pulled it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you have the
One
Pentagon.
I got to say about that whole deal is another weird thing that was going on that day.
Mhm.
The paper, if you noticed, there was tons of paper everywhere, laying next to the cars that were burned anywhere. Everything burned except paper.
Right? Yeah, just like the magical passport. You know,
Yeah.
the magical passports. So, yeah, it's definitely a deep rabbit hole that we're going down, and with the Pentagon being hit by what does not even look close to being a airplane, and the first couple newscasters that were brought on the scene actually themselves said that it doesn't look like an aircraft hit this building.
Yep.
He shortly had to retract from
Yep.
his statement, and he kind of got a little bad on the hand. So
All those early clips. And they clearly wasn't. The building wasn't even collapsed. The Pentagon, it only had a small hole that maybe 15 feet in diameter.
mhm.
Originally, when the firefighters first got there. I've seen the original pictures. I mean, you can find them on the internet.
Yeah, they're available, folks. So I will put some links in the description section below regarding
I mean,
9/11
some
too. So
it wasn't an episode yet.
no, it wasn't, and I know that this is a really touchy subject for a lot of people, but you really got to get past the whole airplanes thing. I just showed you some very provocative information regarding how they manipulate your mind with the news and how everything could be CGI regarding your news broadcasts, green screens, and voice morphing. So, yeah, I just really encourage everybody to really dig in the next month or so during this time of 9/11.
Right. And you got the plane that supposedly went down in Shanksville in the field with the hole. And they're going to try to convince you that the entire plane went into that hole and disappeared into the earth. No bodies, no plane, nothing. So, I mean, that's right.
Yeah, it just disappeared. It evaporated.
Evaporated.
It never happened before, but
Sad is the real planes of all the people that were on the real planes, wherever they took those planes, is what did they do with all them people? I mean, they had to kill them.
or they blackmailed him, you know.
I think they killed them.
Yeah. Well, hey, I wouldn't put it past them, because not only are these people evil, but they need sacrifices to have the type of power that they do in this reality. And I hate to break it to you, my Christian brothers and sisters, but you can't go so as far as having faith in a guy who claimed to be God, was murdered and killed, 3 days later rose from the dead, and you can't expect his perfection and the perfectness of God to be there and then not have the complete opposite of the evil in this reality. You just can't have it both ways. And that's the thing that sucks about a lot of these lukewarm Christians, and Christians who say, yeah, I love Jesus and all this other stuff, but then they don't go so as far as to say, no, NASA would never do that to us. They would never fake outer space. Those pictures are real. That video that I just watched about the universe, that was real. That was not CGI.
Yeah, I agree.
But what do I know? So let's step back a little bit and let me ask you about your flat Earth journey. How has that been? When did you get on that idea, and who led you to it? And how are you right now with your friends and family?
Well, I was in still in the 9/11 research. I mean, I just never gave up on that. And one day I ran across a video. It just popped up in my thing one day, and it's a flat Earth, and I'm like, this is crazy. So I watched it. It was a Math Powerland, that comedy special.
Yes.
That all the way through. That was amazing video. And made me start thinking. So I'm like, this. I'm a conspiracy nut, and I'm like, I can't believe this. So I just started researching. I had a different job at the time. I had a lot of time off, so I stayed up all night getting what I could.
What year was this again?
That was in early 2015.
Okay.
So all I could find back then, and I did a YouTube search. I probably found only maybe 10 videos, and most of all of them I found it was Eric DeBay and Math Powerland. So that's who I watched, and then I just watched it blow up. I mean, it just went skyrocket overnight. It just kept building and building, but I've told some of my family and stuff, and some of them think I'm crazy, and some of them believe me. They understand. My dad, my mom and dad. My mom, she's pretty open to anything, and she goes along with it somewhat. But my dad is a preacher.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That one was tough. I mean, I first brought it up to him. It was like I hit a brick wall. He didn't want to hear it. He still to this day. I don't even talk to him about it no more. I won't say nothing with flat in it. I mean, it just don't work with him. He's like straight up the Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he won't talk about it.
That's a shame because I'm on fire for the Lord. I love God, and from my experiences and everything that I have come to, I 100% believe that Jesus Christ is God and He rose from the dead. And so, with that being said, I am really, really disheartened by my fellow Christians that refuse to even have the slightest interest in looking into the idea of the earth being flat and the deceptions that have gone so far into our school system with NASA, the indoctrination of the ball theory, and like we were just talking about 9/11. They can't wrap their heads around the idea that our, quote, leaders and the elites of this reality would ever do something as so deceptive as lying to us about outer space, where we live. And 2 years ago, before I left for Thailand in 2015, I was in Thailand at the same time you became a flat earther, right? And Eric Dubé was living there. He had already released his 200 proofs. I had no idea about the idea of the earth being flat and everything. At the time, I was listening to people like David Wilcock and Corey Good, Holographic Universe. I was getting into all that kind of new agey stuff to really understand where the enemy was kind of trying to lead this reality into. And it actually, I didn't come across the Eric Dubé video until late 2015. So I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary. And I just, I don't know. I would just shake, if I saw your dad, I'd encourage him also, but he's just probably, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Right? I mean,
Yeah. Yep. That's about it.
you said your mom is cool with it. Is she patronizing, or is she totally like lets you do your thing? She lets you be you, or like how is she in that? Is it something that her your dad kind of influences her on kind of going that way?
Well, yeah, she won't talk about some stuff around him. She, she's like a split personality.
Yeah, I bet. I've been in that environment before. I know what you're talking about.
Puts up with it just to deal with him. But she believes she's more open to different avenues of things. I mean, she believes in God and Jesus and all that, but she don't have a problem with other things. I mean, the stuff's clearly wrote in the Bible. I don't know why they don't get it.
Hmm. Yeah. Have you pointed that stuff out to them in regards to?
I did. I
Yeah.
did tell Dad that stuff, but it didn't go so well.
I, I bet. You know who Charles Lawson is?
No.
Okay. Check him out. I'll share a link of that of him also. He is a Tennessee preacher, and he has gone from
Oh, I
one.
know about.
You think you know who I'm talking about now?
I do.
Okay, yeah. He flamed flat Earth at one point a number of months ago, and most recently, I would say in the last 2 months, he gave more of a middle of the road type of deal. I think he is smart with how he presented it, because I think a majority of your churches and the pastors won't talk about flat earth because they'll lose 99% of the congregation. So there's no way that the mainstream pastors will ever go as far as to talk about flat earth, because they'd probably lose their tax break too.
Yeah, he took a lot of heat when he came out against the flat Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. I was this close to emailing him.
Yeah, yeah, he was pretty. He was a trip.
Yeah, it's Are You Serious? Flat Earth is the title of his video, and I'll share that in the description section below too. It's always good. I mean, like I said, it's always good to, if you're not a Christian and you don't agree with the biblical God, hey, that's cool. I totally get where you're coming from. I understand. But I also have myself gone into the New Age realm. I went to Thailand for 8 months, so I understand Buddhism, and I really wanted to understand people's background and how they got to these particular lifestyles and decision making. So yeah, I think that it's very good to get a better understanding of both sides.
Yeah, when you said, "Are you serious?" That that other preacher that always does that. Are
Oh.
you serious? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. His name is at the tip of my
go
tongue too, but
yeah, I went into his chat room recently, and I got banned because of my name.
Okay.
They don't allow, you can't say anything about flat Earth in there. And I didn't do a chat raid or nothing. There was 1,500 people in there when he kicked me out, and just because my name, one of his mods said, "Change your name or leave," and I said, "What?" And I'm just here to listen. And they said, "We don't allow flat Earth talk here." And I was like, "I'm not talking."
Yeah, you just yeah, right?
I mean, it just triggered him to see flat Earth in my name, and they sent a text. They said, "All right, you've been warned. You're gone," and they booted me out.
Unbelievable. That's sad. Yeah, that's really sad how people treat the idea of flat Earth as kryptonite, if you will. It's just people are really. I think people are really uncomfortable with the idea that they've been lied to for such a long period of time. What kind of negative, some more hostile conversations do you think you can remember in regards to flat Earth?
Um,
Like
well,
on a personal level, like face to face, if you will.
yeah, I've told some people. I drive a tow truck for roadside assistance, so I meet a lot of people, and I talk to them a lot. But usually I fill them out and see how they are before I start talking. Especially if it's a long tow and they're going to be riding with me for a few miles, so I can judge how long I can talk to them.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes the people that if they say a certain, I'll say something and I'll wait for their reply and I'll go from there. It's like you did in the cab, except I do it with my passengers that that need a tow. So I do that, and some of them get triggered pretty bad, and they don't even want to talk about it. And once that hits, I just don't even say nothing else. I kind of casually go into it, and then they get to that point, and I stop. But some of them, more than more than most, is love it when I talk about it. They thank me for telling them,
Hmm.
and yeah, and then they say I'm going to research.
Yeah, I
Yeah, they're
wonder. Oh, go ahead.
triggered. Get really triggered sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder how many.
Yeah.
And we always wonder how many people we've flat smacked, talked to, even just said, "Hey, did you know that the Earth is flat?" And then they walk away. It's nothing like you're gonna get into this like 5 minute dialogue with them, but just even just giving them that, I just wonder. I hope that their journey is continuing. The people, if at all, they've come back to my YouTube channel and they got my card. If they're here right now, I just continue to encourage them that this is a long journey. This is 5 stages. This is the 5 stages of everything, and it took me a good winter to get through the. Because here in Minnesota, I mean, that sometimes the winters can get to you, and you can be living on cloud nine and everything's going smooth for you, but it's 20 below outside, and you don't want to go anywhere, so you get cabin fever, and realizing that we were being deceived like we were about where we live and NASA and the fakery of outer space, it did get to me. And people say, well, if it got to you, why do you want to share the idea of the Earth being flat with people? And it's like, because I have to, because I got to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I hate that I found out when I was 48, 49, 48. I was like, look at all the years I wasted.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've told a few. I mean, a couple of hundred people at least or more already. I mean, that I've towed. Sometimes I don't even talk to them. You just get a vibe from people. You just don't even say nothing.
I know
Not
that vibe.
nothing. But usually I'll start out with something like that with 9/11 or something, like that, or the moon.
Hmm.
And if they do a positive note on a moon landing on the moon, then it's all in them. I'll just tell them about everything.
Yep. Which is why I have. So my walk in my faith has led me to the major prophets, and I really identify with this verse that I'm showing right now, Ezekiel 33 8 through 9, where it's the watchman verse, and I have identified with this so much, and it has helped me kind of wean myself away from the things that tie me down, so that I can be filled more with the passion and the burden that I have for people. I might say to you, these evil people will die. Then you must go warn them from me. If you don't warn them and tell them to change their lives, those evil people will die because they sinned. But I will make you responsible for their death. But if you do warn the evil people to change their lives and stop sinning, and then if they choose to stop, they choose to not stop, they will die because they sinned, but you have saved your life. And my point with that verse is I I need to give them an opportunity. That's where I'm all about that. I'm all about just saying, hey, this is through my experience, what I have seen, and I think that this is kind of where we're at right now. Here's my opinion. Check it out, and then my hands are clean. Like, I can walk away and I can say, okay, I did what I felt like I needed to do, and so that's it, and then I move on, and then I'm not burdened by the idea of them, making fun of me or whatever, because then they're held accountable for how they react.
Yeah. And there's
So,
so many people that are just totally brainwashed.
mhm.
I mean, it's just like no saving them.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
a pattern in their life, and they just continue in that, and don't like they got blinders on. You know what I mean?
yeah, which is why I'm sharing this video right here, which is a newer video that I've just recently come across. It's a person's independent outlook on the 9/11 incident and how no planes were used. One of the videos that he cites is called September Clues, which I also have available in the link, the description section below. And he also kind of gives his own analysis of how there were no planes used. And I don't know what's worse, telling people that the Earth is flat in a motionless plane, or the other side of the coin, there were no planes used in 9/11. What do you think is more blasphemous?
Uh, I think the no planes thing really offends some people. I've talked to a few people, and they said, you wasn't in New York. And I've had a couple of my riders like that, and they like, I have a friend that was in New York that saw this happen. I'm like, did you see it happen? Was you in New York? No. Okay, then.
Right. But I know somebody who was there.
They all know somebody.
Right. I know somebody there. I know. I was. It's like the guy who ran everybody over supposedly in the Charger. I used to live
Charlotte.
in. I used to live in that city. That didn't. That was real. I used to live there.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah, I've
makes
been
all the
looking
difference.
lately too. Seen a lot of good videos of breaking that down
Hmm.
lately. What do you think about that?
Say again. Oh yeah, about the Dodge Charger. Well, my opinion about it is there are a lot of people who have the understanding of how to see a car coming for them and bracing themselves in a manner that they will not get hurt. Hope I used the proper opinion right there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it coincidentally lines a lot up with how they do it in movies. I'll even go another step further so people out there get a better understanding of what I mean. And I think that along with this movie Looker, what they're able to do here as we watch this supposed film regarding 9/11 in this orb that doesn't at all look like an airplane. I think that they are able to win the hearts of people through fear and intimidation and with computer generated images. And the technology that we have nowadays is so beyond our comprehension as tax-paying civilians that to roll your eyes and say that that's not possible, you have not been in this truth movement for very long, or you're in denial. So, what do you think about the Dodge
Yeah.
Charger?
I I think exactly that. I think it was a setup. I mean, maybe a few people got hurt a little bit, but I don't know. I wasn't there, but I mean, it just didn't add up. And then that chopper went down before that happened, with
Right.
the and that would have filmed the event, and that's how they fixed that problem by taking out the chopper.
Mm-hmm. What about that
So,
drone? What do you think about the drone that just so happened to be out of
and it was
position?
just out of it. Just need to be a little more to the left, right?
Just it just so happened to be, you know?
Yeah. You couldn't even see the charger, but you could see the other cars move, and you could see the people just kind of fall away, you know.
Yep.
And another thing, that video you're showing, Chopper 4 in the 911, you notice how clear, and if you see the original video of that, it was a like perfect, crisp, clear video. It was the clearest video of 9/11 footage, and it clearly showed no plane hitting the explosion happening with no plane hitting the building. And then they told him to back off. But every video after that, you couldn't see nothing in the background. It was a foggy, hazy background, which was fake, so they could add the CGI.
Yep.
This because everybody said it was the most beautiful, clearest day they could remember in New York, and that first video, Chopper 4, actually showed that it was. You see how clear you can see for miles back there. But after that video, you couldn't see shit back there.
Yeah, they were definitely using they had people in position with the right equipment to give us a narrative that these people were innocent bystanders. And if this sounds crazy to people out there, brace yourself. Okay? Jamie Foxx was a crisis actor. Okay? So understand that these people will will stop at nothing to get you to believe their narrative through fear tactics and their own way of manipulating what we see on TV to get you to a particular point where you say, of course, yeah, let's do it. We got to get over there to the Middle East and take care of business. And if you, most people who were aware of the, it took me a number of years after 9/11 to really grasp everything I just figured out the no planes about 2 or 3 years ago. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I was in the dark about the no planes thing for a
I was
number
a
of years.
couple of weeks after.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, because I went hardcore into that,
Uh-huh.
studying it and watching it.
Truth Barracuda says loose change opened my eyes. Yeah, me too. And then I found out that the people of loose change are some interesting fellas, interesting people for sure. Not that I'm saying that the information from people like your Alex Joneses and your David Ikes and Michael Moores isn't credible information, but they do give you some truth. But you never saw anything about no planes and loose change, if from my recollection, right?
Yeah, they didn't say nothing like that.
So yeah, took me a couple of years to get out of there. But back to my point about George Bush in 2004, he did a dinner conference and he talked about and laughed about the no the missing weapons of mass destruction. He joked about it twice, 5 minutes into his little dinner party that he was a part of in 2004. He's like, nope, no weapons of mass destruction under here. Nope, they're not over here. And everybody in the crowd just laughed it off. And I saw that and I was just like, wow, these people have absolutely no sense of life for human beings. We are literally cattle and just taxpayers to these people.
Yeah, it's all scripted. Just like at the school. Remember when he was sitting there and the kids were reading the book? And you've seen the video where it says no, what does it say? Planes, steel. It just goes on, just giving clues throughout the whole thing the kids were reading. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, and then his testimony after that was saying that he saw the first airplane hit the towers on TV. When everybody knows that the film for that wasn't until the next day.
That's right.
And this doesn't cross people's minds. They don't look at this type of there's just inconsistencies. Like he's saying that he saw the first plane hit, but nobody could have seen that. And the only reason that we did see it is because there just so happened to be just so happened to be an Israeli news and or art team in downtown New York.
Yeah, that was convenient. And the firefighters on that video, the only video, I guess, of the first whatever it was that hit the tower. I mean, they were set up perfectly on that street, or on that side of the building, for that angle to film that.
Yep. And all the people that were interviewed by some of the people that were interviewed by that same team, and It was all scripted. It was our first demonstration of crisis actors, and we never that type of idea, that type of vernacular never even crossed our mind the most until the last couple of years here with the your Sandy Hooks and your Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, paying for people to act out a crisis situation. Like, that is how deceptive these people are. Okay, Peanut Gallery? I mean, I know you folks are out there. You got to understand how evil and deceptive these people are. I mean, we're watching a video about 9/11 where somebody is trying to show you and give you evidence that that is not an airplane that you're seeing on TV. That is a CGI'd computer image of an airplane hitting from what it looks to be advanced military technology of an orb or a UFO looking device with probably a small nuke in it, or some kind of a high capacity explosion, and then they CGI'd a fireball onto it also.
Yeah. And that video there you're showing now, I just learned of that. And all the research, I watched this video so many times, and I never caught that of that wing, that left wing going behind that building.
Right, yeah. So,
I just learned of that, like 2 years ago?
mm-hmm. Yep, folks, let me show you what he's referring to.
Because that's absolutely impossible. Because that building's further in the foreground.
I have a video for everybody to check out. It's called September Clues. It's another video for everybody that needs to check this out. I haven't gone back far enough. Okay. So, you see how the two towers are there, everybody? And then you see the billow of smoke coming from the left tower. To your immediate left, there is a taller, darker tower right there. And what he's saying, and if you do look into this video called September Clues, as the airplane is flying into the second tower on the right, the wing of the airplane goes behind the darker skyscraper on your left, right next to the smoke billowing from the tower. It goes behind that building, folks. I massive deception.
Right in your face.
Just, yep. And it took them a few moments to catch some of this stuff, and at one point, they actually black out the screen for a moment because the sequence of what they wanted to be live TV and what they had orchestrated to put on live TV wasn't matching up. So they blacked out the screen for, something like 5-10 seconds.
Yeah. And that's a video you're talking about, nose in, nose out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, September Clues, and he also explains it here a little bit too, but and I do plan on going to my Minnesota Vikings game is hosting at US Bank Stadium the New Orleans Saints on September 11th, and it might be the one time that I could probably get punched in the face. I'll be honest with everybody. It could be because I'm gonna go out there and I just gotta let them know. I gotta say, hey, you guys gotta get this. You guys gotta get this through your head, So, oh yeah, new perspective saying what George Bush was. He was in an English classroom, and what the kids were saying while this was happening: steel kite hit planes. So they let you know. And that's the thing too, is I think that with this whole flat Earth movement right now, I do think it is a controlled narrative. I have no problem with saying that. Like that's not my issue. My issue is getting people to believe that it's a controlled narrative. You know? I think you might be on mute.
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
I've dealt with that for many years. It's hard to wake people up. It really is. I mean, what I've seen in my life is that we are greatly outnumbered, very much,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like not enough of us can wake up fast enough. I mean, it has to be like all at once. You know what I mean? Like a lot, super fast.
Yeah, there's a wave of truth that is being poured out right now, and
Yeah. Yeah, it's going out faster. It definitely has picked up since flat Earth. That's for sure.
mm-hmm.
I've noticed that.
They want to know who you are. Where have you done your any other hangouts? Have you shared your opinions about anything else? What are some other interests that you kind of do on the side? I shared that Looker movie. I had seen a video about that a year ago, and I displayed some of the presentation about that. And I still think that's quite fascinating. I did chemtrails, and I'm also very into cell phone towers and how they're used for, you know, manipulation of mind control and keeping people docile. What are some interests that you have?
I'm pretty much into all of it. I've studied all the tower stuff too. They got death towers.
Right? Yeah, Gwen Towers. Yeah.
In that video that dude made, he's got a good video. Can't remember who it is, but talking about how they're like giant microwaves, could reverse the power and just like fry people's brains in mass areas.
Yep.
And now they're down there. They're going to 5G now,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to like double it.
What's your kind of observation or opinion about the frequency of this reality? Is it being increased or decreased? And I say that because they're able to use that type of like they have what am I trying to say? Like trucks that have like what look like radar on top of them, with like a satellite dish on them, and they can use that as a means to, quote, disperse a crowd in a non-lethal manner. Do you think that cell phone towers have a slight characteristic with that, and what's their point? Because it seems like we're waking up, but why is it that the general populace is unable to get out of this trance in the matrix still?
I don't. I don't really know. It's just like I said a while ago. They're just like totally brainwashed. I mean, too much TV. TV's gotten unbelievable. I don't even watch TV. I haven't had TV in 20 years probably. I haven't had TV since internet started. So, I mean, it's definitely programming people, and the music industry for sure. That's a big one.
Yes.
That's the biggest. I mean,
What
it's just
do you think?
fighting a big power. You know,
Hmm.
they're putting they're putting out nonstop, 100 times greater than we're putting out.
Do you think there's anything to the change in frequency that they went to, and what is your opinion about how they use music and the different beats? Because it's certainly hypnotic to this next generation that's coming up. The kids love the music that is out there now. It's very to their frequency, and so it does seem like it's very hypnotic to them. And I've done some music study about the 60s and 70s, particularly with bands like Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and everything. Do you think that there's what type of correlation can you see from the 70s music up until now? And clearly, like when they're using computers more.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I'm studied a lot about frequencies. That is definitely going on. Yeah, I've watched the music change. I mean, I started listening to music when I was really getting into music, I guess in the 70s. And then I've watched it go to what it is now. And I remember like mid 80s is like when rap music started. Not saying nothing bad about rap. I actually like the music, but some of the words is kind of messed up. But
Hmm.
uh, it changed a lot right there in the mid 80s. It started going degrading women, started in the mid 80s. We in the music, bitches, hoes, all that stuff. And it just accelerated from there. I mean, look at them now. I mean, they got full satanic rituals in videos now.
Yeah, have you seen that new Taylor Swift video?
Seen them all. I mean, I watch them all just to.
I mean, it just recently came out in the last couple of days here, the new Taylor Swift video.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't. So I say that, have you seen it? I'm totally aware of her and Katy Perry and Justin Bieber, but what's your analysis of the new Taylor Swift video, just to kind of give us an idea? I haven't seen it yet, so maybe you can shed some light on it for me.
Uh, I don't know. She's like, that's the one where she's a zombie.
I think so.
Yeah, and she's got like different personalities, multi personalities coming out. Actually watched a video tonight a guy did on that, and he was saying that it was like she's being born again. I mean, that's their ritual way of being born again, is to come out as from the dead to living again.
Hmm.
They, he said they recycle these entertainers. They'll come out, zombify a bunch of people, I guess, and then they go out of the stage for a while and a couple of years, and then they cycle them back in again. It's
Yeah,
like a
I having watched Looker, last night, and showing this video so I can keep people up to date about what we were talking about. I've seen people come and go here, so this was kind of the point of the video here tonight, folks, and I thank everybody for coming in today and just hanging out in the chat. But this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this chat, is because you really need to start questioning the stuff that you see on mainstream TV, even when it's live, because as you see, this John Smith here, he's just a guy who's tooling around with this from Stanford, college student, being Putin. So when you get somebody to that level of acting and being able to emphasize their voice and everything, you're who knows if Taylor Swift is really who she used to be. You got Looker, where they're in this model is in a capsule, and she's scanned from head to toe in a computer, and this artificial intelligent being is creating her likeness in a computer, and then that image is holographically projected into our reality with her same voice and mannerisms that she has, but it's all on TV. So you watching TV don't know it's really happening, if it's real, if that's really Taylor Swift singing that song. I'm just saying, I know it sounds super conspiratorial, but 95% of us haven't had a personal conversation and interaction with a lot of these celebrities that you see. And who's to say that they're even really who they say they are if you do meet them? I could go even so far as to say they could be a clone. So, what do you think about clones?
I don't really know about the clone thing. I've seen a lot of stuff about clones, but I don't really subscribe to that. But as what you saying about them being, as far as from the TV to my eyes, they could be totally fake. I mean, I've seen the graphics like that. You can't tell if they're real or not unless you know them personally.
Agreed.
Like the singers that could be dead, but they keep them alive with the technology.
Yeah.
Just to make it.
Flat Adam makes a comment. I'm always blown away at the lack of next generation flat earthers. They're totally distracted. Yeah, even people who entertain the idea of the earth being flat, and they say, "Yeah, I'm a flat earther, but hey, you know what? I used to be there too." Okay? So what I'm going to say is going to sound totally judgmental, and I'm going to get thrown into the fire here, but when you do become a flat earther, you really are opening your consciousness to a thought life that 98% of the population is not at all ready for. And you need to start making decisions in your life that will allow you to accept more truth into your reality that you see and experience. And that means you will have to change your diet, You have to change what you watch. You got to put the video games away. And if you play them I play video games a couple hours here and there throughout the week just to kind of. Sometimes this flat earth stuff gets overwhelming, and I'm sure you totally understand where I'm coming from. It's just like,
yeah,
this constant barrage of knowing how deep the deception goes, and that's how I escape. And I don't do it as much as I used to by any stretch. 4 to 5 hour benders every single day, but yeah, these next generation flat earthers, these new generation flat earthers that are coming into the movement, I know that they see a lot of drama going on, and they see a lot of isolation. I could see that happening, where people just, they don't know who to trust, they don't know where to go to get their information. And I just hope that this channel gives people an out, to come to just have a better idea of where they can go and share their feelings. And I hope that it's a good fit for them.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a spiritual war going on right now. I used to sit around and play video games for hours and hours. And I I had modded Xboxes. I mean, you've seen modded games, right?
Right.
Yeah, Halo. I was a Halo freak. I modded Halo. I was pretty famous, I guess, on the internet. If you type Moonbase Alien in search bar, you'll find tons of my videos of modded Halo games and stuff. But it was a lot of time I spent doing that, and I quit doing it. I don't even play games and stuff. I'm always researching. Even when at work, my phone's always velcroed to the dash of my tow truck, playing some kind of video. Just listening to stuff, listening to people talk, listening to you all the time. I listen to IPS all the time, everybody, and research whenever I can. I don't get enough time to, that's for sure.
One thing that I have, I've gone down this bunny trail here. I just put an article up. It's your Wikipedia trying to explain the holographic principle, string theory, and all that stuff. Being grounded where I am spiritually, I see this as a deception with the holographic idea in mind, but there is a little bit of truth to holographic universe, and I'll share my opinion, and I'd love to hear if you've gone down the holographic universe or kind of that new agey type of thing. But my interpretation of what I experience as the holographic universe is this, where you have these different different realities, these quote parallel universes. You ever see back in the day the TV show called Sliders?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a TV show about White Castle. It's a...
I was sci-fi all the way.
Okay, right on. So, yeah. So I watched Sliders all the time. I used to love that show. And it kind of got me thinking later on in life about that idea of, parallel universes and stuff. And I teetered on that even though I was still, a Christian and whatnot. But my experience with the holographic universe now, and having watched Secret Key Activator, I'll share a link of that also. It's on YouTube. But holographic universe would be, in my opinion, you're basically creating your own reality with the choices that you're making, and you reap what you sow here in this reality. So if you're sowing good, then that's going to reflect into your life, and people are going to, they're going to feed off that. They're going to see that. They're going to sense the type of person you are, the type of spirit that you are. And if you're sowing evil, eventually your evil and your thoughts and how you're trying to go about things is going to catch up to you, and you're exposed. You're put out. Everything that's dark will come into the light. And so, as I have walked with God here, I know times when I get ahead of myself and I try to create a reality in which is not for Joshua Swift. Trying to do things that are out of kind of my element, that I know that I shouldn't be doing, but my flesh wants to do it. Like I want to, be with a particular girl. I had a problem with seeking out the wrong girls in the wrong places, and it would never end up in I'm single. Let's just put it that way. I'm 36 and a half years old and I'm still single. So clearly, there is a point in my life right now where I'm meant to be single, and I need to focus on what I need to focus on, and that's where the Ezekiel 33 kind of comes in. And so when I do walk in the Spirit, in line step with God, I do feel more fulfillment. I feel like I don't feel like I'm being controlled by this evil taskmaster. I feel very comfortable where I'm at right now, because I feel like I'm doing what he is calling me out to do, and I just need to walk in it and kind of walk in parallel, same kind of speed, even though I feel he has mapped out a path for me to go into. And so I know it took a lot of Christians out there, especially your Orthodox Christians. This is going to sound very New Agey, but when I got done watching the movie What the Bleep Do We Know, and when I did my study about distilled water and how thoughts are water and how you can actually create your own reality in which we live, and that's where kind of the string theory comes in, because all your choices are being made, and you're like, okay, so if I didn't take the left door and I took the right door, that means that there's an alternate reality for the right door, for if I was to go through this door over here. And I get where you guys are coming from, but there's not another reality. There's just not another reality. The choices that you make now are just the choices that you're making. And so I hope that people can just feel more comfortable knowing that when you are, quote, creating your reality here, there is no string theory. There is no, like, alternate dimension, like on Sliders, where in one reality he has his gate is oiled up, and that ends up being his reality. His mom just so happened to go out and oil up the gate that always squeaked, and that was kind of his totem, like on Inception, to know whether or not this was the correct reality for him. And that's the trick, is you don't know that there is this alternate reality out there, which is why I always try to direct people and just make the decision that you're making now and just walk in it, and just don't worry about these alternate realities and whatnot. Just walk and just do it, you know. And so there is that side of the coin where you are creating your own reality, you know. But be careful what you wish for. And I say this to my Christian friends: be careful what you pray for, too. And it's like what Garth Brooks says, you know, thank God for the unanswered prayer in my life, because I would have really screwed things up. So, but just kind of like with after that kind of little diatribe, what is your experience with holographic universe, string theory, and kind of parallel universes and whatnot?
That was a lot.
Right, yeah.
Ever since I've started hearing people talk about a holographic universe and stuff, I pretty much don't agree with it. I mean, I believe. I mean, when they say that stuff, that everything's a holograph, we're living in the Matrix. I mean, everything around me is real, so I can't see everything as a hologram. You know, if I run into a tree, I'm gonna feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. The other stuff is just like it's reality. This is reality. We're in it. It's the material world. There may be other, I don't know, dimensions, whatever, like heaven, hell. Those can be considered dimensions, I guess. I don't know for sure, but as far as reality, I mean, this is just real. It's real.
Yeah.
And the other stuff you was talking about is about the people you hang out with and stuff, and like you can tell people, like they say, you'll know them by their fruits, and you got to stay around positive people. If people's negative all the time, they're bringing in dark energies. You don't want to be around that kind of people, even if it's a family member. I don't go around a lot of my family. We don't associate because a lot of them's drama based and negative, and I don't want nothing negative in my life. I stay away from it. And you always, if you try to live good, the better you're doing, the harder get hit by negative stuff trying to stop you. So if you're getting hit by negative stuff that's trying to stop you, that means you're on the right track. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're not coming against any opposition, then you're not doing something right.
Right. And yeah, and like you were talking, I would think groups of people, the conscious awareness groups of people coming together, like we're doing here with this flat Earth thing and all this talk, it grows on its own. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It blooms a flower and it just keeps going. Eventually, it will grow to a huge mass awakening, but I really wish it would move a little faster.
Yeah, right. I know.
It's been what, almost 4 years for me, but it has grown a lot, and this 4 years has went by pretty quick. It doesn't seem like it's been 4 years since I found out the Earth was flat.
Hmm.
It's going pretty quick. Seems like.
Yeah, it does seem
But
like things are going so fast where it's like I again like my how I sense this progression of time speeding up. I don't have enough time to wake people up. And that's why I figured, at the times when I'm just not able to do live streams out in public, I feel if I can get people to come on to this chat room and we probably got 15 people who are interacting in chat, kind of the typical Himawari and Jay Smith and Flat Earth Accord and Morky Love and Carolyn and so on and so on. There's still 40 to 50 people who aren't going to say anything and they're just in the background listening. So I think that for you and me to continually influence this reality with truth and get our voice out into the ether. A lot of Christians are saying, "Oh no, he's talking about the ether." Well, you got to understand the particles that are in between me and the person that I'm speaking to are affected by vibration. And so if out of my heart my mouth speaks, if my heart is full of love and truth and integrity and honesty, if I feel like my intent is to truly inform these people about the deceptions of this reality, my word will not return void. It will affect who it needs to affect, and those who are not, it's going to affect. They weren't meant to have my words change them. It has to be on their own time, and then it might be you who kind of nudges them over the fence. So is that something that you could kind of you kind of agree with? I mean, there are people who are chosen, and there's people that aren't at the time at this moment.
yes, definitely. Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right about the vibrations, the frequencies, and everything's frequencies. The sounds and stuff. Kind of like they say in the word of in the Bible like when they say God created the world and all that, and He said stuff in His voice, the frequency or sound, whatever He made it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when he speaks perfection and he creates things with his voice because he's perfect. And when he speaks a tree into being. He speaks, a dog into being. He creates us human beings into being. Everything is under his dominion except he gave us free will for us to choose between straying or to follow him. And through that in the fall, that the deceptive consciousness is in the air now. You know, the only thing that really keeps us from him is the deceiver, and the adversary. And so that's why he brought the Holy Spirit into this realm, because of him dying on the cross for us, and having his spirit after that was done kind of just spill over onto the earth. And that was the Holy Spirit. So once that was accomplished, Jesus left and ascended into the sky, and that was in Acts 1. So God is separate from this, if you want to call it a dome. I have a picture of what Google does to us with, quote, satellites. Google Earth was created, folks, by drones and balloons, not satellites from outer space. So that, quote, dome, that firmament, if you will, that is separating us from our Creator. And so we have the choice to either follow our heart, which is deceitfully wicked, or we can choose to submit and accept that we can't do everything on our own, that we need help. It's not a crutch. It's just not. I know it sounds like it is. But, following through with that, and just really realizing that we can't do this reality out on our own, because we are all just steps away from being a mass murderer, or doing something that would cause us to land ourselves in jail through fraud or some kind of a lie or something. So yeah, we do have those opportunities, and this reality is definitely opening itself up faster and faster. And I feel like, you and I and our fellow flat earthers out in this community, those who are genuine, feel like time is getting away from us. Like there's not much time, so we gotta continue to go out there and spread this truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like it's getting short. The chaos on the lane.
I'm ready to reap a harvest, man. Like,
Good.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's people out there in the community that don't talk about the people that they have led to flat earth, or they share flat earth with friends and family, or just somebody at the grocery store. You want to I know you want to reap that harvest of people, of you going out and sharing flat earth with people, and then they get it. It clicks with them. Like, you go 3 or 4 people in a row, and you share, a 5 or 10 minute, dialogue with somebody about flat earth, and they leave and say, yeah, okay, I'll go home and check it out. And let's say, like, one of those people text you or send you an email and said, hey, you know what? I'm a flat earther because of you, But you got to understand that that's not going to happen a whole lot of time either. You're going to have a lot more no's than you're going to have yes.
Yeah, that's true. It's like separating the wheat from the tares.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Tares are like thick.
They are, man. Yeah. They are. And the only thing that's gonna get those thick tares out is by fire and truth. Charm Fear says, I lost 2 subs today. I hope they were Globers. Yeah, that sucks. But hey, I lose people all the time, and I've been messaged recently by some people that they were unsubscribed to me too. So don't take it to heart, Charm Fear. And hey, I'll put this out there. Some subscribers might be artificial. They might be artificial from YouTube, collecting analytics on your channel, and then they get deleted. So there's a lot of crazy stuff out there that could be happening with subscribers. So I don't take it personally. I kind of used to. But the more genuine that you are, and the more that you deliver who you are and what you feel as is truth, and you're nice about it, you'll draw the people that are meant to be in kind of your circle. So, because because there's people that you're going to be able to connect with, right? That I'm not going to be able to talk to, and vice versa. You know.
Yeah.
Drutha says the Mandela effect changed your sub count. So about that, so when I was getting into flat Earth, there were two topics that started to come up in flat Earth. I lean towards one more than the other, but what's your opinion on there are no trees on flat Earth and the Mandela effect?
Oh wow. Um. Okay, for trees on flat Earth, I remember that. Um, when I first watched that video, I guess you watched that video.
Yep,
It was an Indian kind of dude talking or something.
Russian. Yeah, the Russian guy.
Yeah. I mean, everything he said, pretty much after watching it, it kind of made sense to me. But, it seems that there could have been giant trees. And I always wondered, and before Flat Earth, I always wondered why there wasn't any big trees. Why there were, everywhere I lived, it's just, the trees are all about the same size. It's like, and if you date them, they're what, maybe 150, 200 years old, some of them, the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, where's any older trees besides the redwood trees? Those are pretty big, but I don't know. You remember that? I guess you remember the movie. What was that movie? The Blue People.
Say again.
What's that movie called where the people were in that forest and that giant tree? Them big blue human-looking people.
Oh, Avatar.
Yeah, that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was pretty cool, and it showed the trees and how they worked and connected with the people, the
Yes.
plant. Everything's one. I believe that there could have been a world like that at one time. I don't know about the trees as far as the flat top mountains that's here now being trees.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, I don't know. I really don't have an opinion on that. But the Mandela effect, I definitely have a lot of those things that's in that I've seen that did change. Absolutely changed. And I've seen some proof of it. One of the ones was the mirror, mirror on the wall. Because a woman made a video. She found a book, an original book, that said mirror, mirror on the wall. And I remember that book when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now it supposedly says magic mirror on the wall. But it did say mirror, mirror on the wall. How's that shit changing? I don't know.
Do you think companies have the right to change their marketing scheme, if you will, like how they um, change things for certain generations? You know what I mean?
Like targeting kids?
Yeah, like they got to kind of switch certain things up because how marketing affected perception and drew people towards particular products or how people communicated. They're kind of changing with the times.
Oh, yeah, definitely they are. I mean, just about everything nowadays is sexual.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything.
Mm.
There's a lot of stuff even in cartoons. that kids are watching, especially Cartoon Network. There's a lot of young kids watch Cartoon Network, and that channel's totally corrupted with satanic cartoons and sexual stuff. And then they do it straight into the commercials, with the toy. And I've got a family member that's got some kids, and she takes them to those. They was in those dance pageants and stuff, and where they dress the kids up full of makeup and stuff, make them look almost like adult-like. That kind of stuff I really not for that. Probably shouldn't do that with kids.
Yeah, the video now that I'm showing is kind of goes back to the idea of the holographic universe and how we interpret reality from our own personal experiences, and what we see could be different from what somebody else sees. And I think it kind of comes in line step with the idea of the Mandela effect, because I guess in my own personal experience, other than what I've seen on the internet, I haven't seen anything that's conclusive evidence that my personal, what I experience as reality to me has changed. Like, I'm not on my timeline type of deal, like Issa would say. And so how I interpret my reality, and I see things with my eyes, and then it comes back into my pineal gland, and I experience stuff, it hasn't changed what I guess, I don't know, it's kind of difficult for me to explain. It hasn't, like, the Mandela effect hasn't gone so as far as for me to say I'm in a different timeline right now, or I'm in a different time loop, so much so that I can't go back. And I'll be candid with everybody here. A number of years ago, before I was a Christian, I experienced a psychedelic experience with LSD and mescaline and DMT, all during different occasions and stuff. And I can say that with my experiences with them, I was a different person after my experience. And so, with that being said, with that psychedelic experience through artificial means, I can't say with all certainty that the Mandela effect has done anything to me. So, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine that has done stuff like that. He wanted me to do it. It'll change your life. But I didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was scared.
Jay Smith says my timetables are correct, right? Yeah, mine are too. And I'm by no means endorsing the use of psychedelics or anything. Everybody can experience this reality just fine without the use. And I do understand that in this community there is a push, well, not a push, but there are a lot of people who would say that you should try it. I can't necessarily agree with that. I mean, everything and everybody in its time. There's a lot of people in my own personal life that I see drinking on a regular basis that just shouldn't be drinking alcohol, but they choose to. And so I think that there are just some people that just should stay away from particular experiences that are done artificially. And there's a lot of ways that you can have those type of, quote, psychedelic experiences without the use of natural or artificial psychedelics. So, and they have the picture of the blue marble. So even though this video might share some provocative ideas of how we perceive our reality, they still use, the blue marble programming, outer space programming and stuff. Yeah, agreed. Ace McLeod says DMT is in no way more enlightening than Flat Earth. I would say that my experience with Flat Earth and where it has taken me both spiritually and my understanding more of this reality has done more than any kind of psychedelic experience in my entire lifetime. Would you, I mean, you don't have to say what you did or didn't do growing up, but would you say that Flat Earth is probably the ultimate mind screw and it changes your life?
Yeah, I agree. All I've ever done is smoke weed.
Right.
But yeah, never got into anything else. I did mushroom once, but they didn't work. They was the wrong kind or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a friend on DMT that I told the Earth was flat. He's like, "Look, dude." He was a trip.
Yeah, it really is. And I wish Christians weren't so kryptonite about Flat Earth as I have experienced. It is probably they are, in my opinion, some of the worst people to talk to about it. Next to clearly, atheists and or college students who are going to school, and are headlong into their studies.
Yeah, I know, and I find that very surprising. I would think there'd be more of them that would just automatically go to it, but yeah, like all the big preachers on the TV, just about all of them's got a globe in their symbolism.
Right.
Or, and some of them you've seen them. They've got these giant globes on pedestals up on the stage.
Yeah, like idols.
Who are they working for? You don't know if they're really Christians or not.
Yeah, I used to be pretty heavy into Kent Hovind back in the day before he got arrested for his tax evasion type of deal. And he helped kind of wake me up in terms of like, the creation idea and, dinosaurs aren't as old as that we're taught and all this other stuff. He gets out of prison and he is heavily into globe indoctrination. So yeah, it is like who's paying you, dude, to like continue to sit on this stubborn pedestal where there's clearly evidence to show a level plane with water covering 71% of the earth, and to where we experience what could be labeled as a flat motionless plane. They have to be getting some kind of endorsements. I just, or they just can't let it go.
Well, there is pretty big money in that. I mean, you've seen some of the congregations those people have is unreal. So they're bringing in some money.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Earth definitely flat.
Right. Yeah. Xbox Z says Ken Hovind is paid or scared. Both. How about that?
Don't want to lose them dollars.
Yeah, after being in jail for 6 or 7 years, I guess that'll do that to you. Church Christians all seem to be running the same program. Yeah, if a lot of people may not be aware of a band called Hillsong. They are kind of in my from what I've seen lately, they are a very new agey type band, and most Christians nowadays feel that if you're not going into a church and the lights don't go out and you experience a 15-minute concert with laser lights and dry ice filling the sky and guitars and 10 people in a band performing, you're not at church anymore. And if you don't leave crying or having some kind of an emotional build-up to your Sunday worship, they can't go to church then. Have you experienced that recently? Have you seen where the this next generation of churches are going? What's your opinion on that?
Um, yeah. I mean, they're just stuck in their ways. It seems like they don't want to change. Doesn't seem like. And then, I mean, they're bringing the kids in. It's just like they're programming them. Just like Flat Earther Court said of the college students, and all that is consuming authority and indoctrinating and social programming. It's almost the same thing in the church. From what I see.
Yeah, I'll give people what I'm talking about. When I first experienced this level of church, I did get very emotional. It is a very big draw for a lot of Christians that I guess I used to be friends with, and they don't really want to have a whole lot to do with me because I do speak more truth than I think they're able to handle. They kind of want to stick in their own little bubble, but this is other than, the title Hillsong United, this is what your general consensus of your high school to 35-ish year old range church looks like. This is what church looks like nowadays. And if a 24-year-old doesn't go to this type of a church, they don't feel like they're worshiping God. And I think it's unfortunate, personally.
Yeah, it's almost like a rave, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, right? Yep. That is exactly what it looks like. So he is melding the two together and confusing kids who are growing up.
Well, I'm about to have to get off of here, man.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you coming in and giving us your opinion. It's a good talk. Never talked to you before, and come back anytime. Maybe we'll have some more stuff to talk about in the future, but this is
Yeah, definitely.
you want to give them your name and so people know who you are so that they can look for you when you're out in the chat?
Yeah. Flat Earth Revamped. And my name's Richie. Not Richie from Boston, Richie from South Carolina.
No, let's hope not. So, right on, Richie.
Great.
Thanks, man, for hanging out for a bit.
All right, y'all take it easy. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, Richie, for hanging out and stopping by. If anybody else wants to come in, there you go. That's the email. So if you're still up to chatting, you can come into the Google Hangout. I saw a question up here. Let me see. New perspective. Wonder what you think the afterlife is like. I think that the afterlife is a lot of what we experience here. Not so much of a lot, but I think it's better than what we experience here. My perception of the afterlife is going to offend quite a few people, but I do think that unless you have faith that Jesus Christ was and is God, died for us human beings to satisfy the wrath of God, rose from the dead, and now is at the right hand of our Creator, that is really the only way that you're going to experience a positive afterlife. With that being said, what somebody would decipher or discern as hell would be the lack of the experience of God. So even though this reality in which we live is deceptive, there are lies everywhere, it's hard to trust people. Sometimes it seems like you can only trust yourself, and even you yourself can put yourself in danger, and like the U2 song, you've put yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. There's still a presence of God here. There is still that reality in which we live in right now, where we do bad things and we want a way to redeem ourselves. I think that is what people seek in their own personal life when they lay back down. They have regrets and they have things that they wish they wouldn't have done. We have a conscience and we wish that we wouldn't have hurt people. And we can always change the next day and right our wrongs by, apologizing to somebody that we've hurt so that we don't carry that bitterness with us anymore. And I think for a lot of people, what keeps them out of, quote, heaven is their own personal pride and ego that they don't feel like they need to submit themselves to a creator. It took me a long time to get to that point. And whatever afterlife we as human beings experience is eternal. In Hebrews 9:27 it says, "For it is appointed to man to die once, and then the judgment." So there is no reincarnation, there's no coming back as another person to right things then and live it up now. There just isn't that. And that's just my conclusion that I've come to in this reality, so I abide by that quite a bit. And so if you are expecting something greater in the afterlife, then it's a good time right now as a human being to get your house in order. And that means get your heart right, get your mind right. You might have to let go of some of the things that bind you down to this reality: fantasy football, sports, women, men, a relationship, money, your job. Even your family can sometimes be a hindrance. I'm not saying that having a family is bad by any means, and I don't have one, so I don't know what that is, that type of a reality is like, but there are some things that you can let kind of, if you love your family as much as you say you do, then you have to trust that the Creator loves you and them more than you do. So giving up the idea of being in a relationship with a girl, that's just something that you got to give up and say, okay, I'm going to experience my reality the way that I am now, and then move on, and go there. Be happy in the job that you have. And I hear a lot of people complain about their job. When I was working at the time, I just said, then quit and find something new, Like, why be upset and why be mad and complain about how other people come into your job and use EBT cards, like your food stamps and stuff? Why are you mad at those people that look different from you, who have gone through the process of filling out the applications to apply for food stamps? And then they go into your store and they spend them, and then you go home and you complain about those people who are spending those food stamps. You don't know what type of situation those people are in. You don't know how they got to where they are at that moment. And to have bitterness and anger about what they look like and who they are, that is unfortunate that you can't love them. And even, let's say, like, you just, not even like a superficial love, but you're just like, okay, you know what? I don't know where they're at. I'll just be cool with where they are, and I'll just wash my hands of it. You don't have to like it, but I think that why should you experience heaven if you think that this is hell? To be nice to people. We saw those people at Berkeley just spewing flies out of their mouth. And it's that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get that type of those types of people, because for a lot of those people out there, those people are probably paid. A lot of those people are probably paid. So I hope that kind of answers my idea of the afterlife, because this is not the end for us. We're, a lot of people have heard this before, we're spiritual beings living a physical experience. And so sometimes the flesh desires a lot more than what the spirit can provide. And when you become too worldly, you lose that connectiveness to the Creator, and you're not able to line your heart back up with Him, because you're too fleshly. You want too many things of the flesh here. And so this chat, the title says, everything isn't a conspiracy, but everything and everyone shouldn't be trusted. And so I just shared some thoughts about this movie Looker that everybody's seeing. It has to do with a movie about holograms, basically. And at one point, this woman is put into a capsule where the computer scans her body, puts her into a computer program, and then through television commercials, particularly in this movie, it is revealed that all of your actors on this TV show are indeed artificial intelligent holograms. They're not real. So kind of like 7D technology. And so it should, I hope, make you question your reality and really what is real. And so here's the video that I was sharing here with some people earlier. I do think it's very important to have this idea in your mind so that at least you're aware of the deception that could be out there. And like I said, not everything is a conspiracy, but I do want to at least give you an opportunity to know that the movie Looker was from 1981, when they were dealing with holograms back then, being implemented into computer programs for commercials. So are all of our commercials that we see real? Really? Thanks, Charm Fear. Appreciate it. I hope that you guys can take something away from this. You know, you don't have to believe everything that I say, particularly about, you know, what I believe in terms of spirituality, but I didn't grow up in a Christian home, so I had no sense of who God was or creator or anything until I was 26, and that was 10 years ago. So I experienced this reality over 2/3 of my life was, you know, apart from an understanding of who God is. And it's taken me this long, 10 years, to even have what people would consider a dogmatic viewpoint about spirituality and the deceptions that we see. And one thing that you're not going to convince me out of, my detractors, is the earth being a, you know, level plane with level and even water, and my spirituality. So you might be able to sway me away from other stuff, but those are just my two dogmatic views. And I don't really get into a whole lot of that stuff when I dialogue with people out on the street because I want them to bring it up. But when they do, I certainly can talk to them. So Charm Fear says, I was actually born into a Jehovah's Witness family. Wow. That would be crazy. I know that a lot of people who go through even let's go so as far as Scientology. People who experience Scientology and then go down a level, maybe the Catholic Church, go down another level, Jehovah's Witness and Mormons. If you leave those groups, a lot of people have experienced gang stalking. Gang stalking is a very real thing, particularly in the truth community, for those who come out and speak about the atrocities, the abuse, the sacrifices, the occult rituals, if you will, through those various, let's be blatant, cults, So I hope everybody doesn't get, hope you feel confident about if you do come out and speak, negatively about, these entities that we would call cults. I hope you're protected and you don't experience any kind of gang stalking. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about your thoughts create your reality. Yep. I have a movie. If you haven't seen this, check this movie out. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know? From watching that movie, it brought me into the drinking distilled water, helped me understand my diet a little bit more. I do see how people can manifest what they want in their reality through their words and how they project their character onto other people. So they they are able to, you know, sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. And people know what they're doing. If their heart is deceptive in any manner, then they're going to get out of you what they want, and then they move on to the next person because they're trying to fill a void in their own heart. And that void is never going to be filled. So that's why they use deception and manipulation. They take advantage of people because it's become second nature to them. That's why there are really good pathological liars out there. And some of us know those people in our family, and we're friends with them. A lot of people are in relationships with people like that who psychologically or verbally or physically abuse you, and you feel like, you know, I love this person, there's no way I could ever leave them, and that's bondage. So, and you have created that situation in your own reality, for sure. Hard Buse says, yeah, there's a part 2 called Further Down the Rabbit Hole. Yep, there is. I also shared some information about Hollow Universe. So, Flat Earth Accord, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. This will be great. I'm going to buy these DVDs, and I'll be getting DVDs so I can hand out to people. We are behind you, Josh. This is for gas or whatever else you need to make more content. Respect and unity. Definitely. That is definitely where it's going to go. Right now, it's 1 a.m. in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so I want to share something with everybody here. You guys want transparency? I can give you transparency if you hold on just a second here. But yes, this will definitely be going towards the channel, and I got something I want to share with everybody. It's really awesome. So give me just a moment. So again, I'll share with everybody this. This is a Japanese company that is planning on making a meteor shower during the 2020 Olympic Games. This company is a Japanese company. And so they are recreating meteor showers in the sky. So when you think that you see a shooting star nowadays, it could be a satellite falling to the ground that's connected to a balloon. Right? Or it could be one of these. So keep your eyes peeled. I had it here for a moment ago. Another thing to get familiar with is how Google created Google Earth. Do some study about a project called Project Loon. And this is your Google Earth right here, folks. They use the guise of internet for everybody. Why do we need to use balloon-powered internet for everyone when we have satellites? Can somebody want to help me out with that? That would be great. All of the people that say there's satellites in the sky. Oh, okay. I'm trying to share with you all something. I don't think it's going to work out. Tom says might be cheaper than satellite, but then where are the satellites? Right? Where are they? That's what I'd like to know. Yeah, I mean this is coming from them, you know. This is how they give us our satellite imagery, if you will. And so it's just crazy that, you know, people, they want to stick to their guns, you know, and try to tell me that satellites exist when I clearly see them as not. I can just show everybody just a recap of what happened today at midnight. This billboard went live here in Minneapolis. So here it is. That is up right now next to the Minnesota State Fair. So that's something that I'm really encouraged about, being able to get here in Minneapolis. I know a lot of people have tried to give me, you know, some negativity, saying that this isn't something that was going to happen, but it really did happen. And so there it is. See a flat reflection? So that's, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I've been going for a couple of hours here. Hope it's something that everybody can investigate on their own about the reality in which we live in. So, hey everybody. So thanks everybody for stopping by. I, kind of really don't have a whole lot left to say. I really feel like I shared everything that I wanted to share and got out what I wanted to get out. And I hope anybody that is seeing the billboard for the first time really humbles themselves and checks your ego at the door so that you're able to gradually let truth in. And I know that hearing that the earth is a level plane is very controversial to what we were taught growing up. But I hope that through your own experiences in life from now on, that this idea challenges you and it brings you to a level of spirituality that you may have never thought you were going to go to. You were just living your life, watching the Vikings game, watching sports, the news, and taking care of your family. But this is something that I feel is very important for everybody to kind of go through on their own time. And again, I just I want to bring it to this type of predictive programming that was done in 1981, movie called Looker. It was ahead of its time, so I kind of did a little rehash of this movie, but check out how that goes with you and your experiences. And there's a movie called They Live with Roddy Piper that you can check out. So yeah, thanks a lot, X-Pac. Out of Bubblegum, cheers. Tom says, glad I haven't fell off the edge. Who said there was an edge? They tell us that the universe is ever expanding. So we live in a reality of duality, Tom. So if they tell us that the universe is ever expanding, but there isn't an edge and we're going to fall off, how does that make any sense? You gotta, hey, I know where you're at. I was there once too. I guess I kind of fell into flat earth a little bit more easier than a lot of people are. They're really on the I need more evidence type of thing. So if you do just allow yourself to go into that scary F word called faith and realize that you might not have all the answers because you're really taking somebody else's word for outer space as being real, even though you've never experienced it yourself, you are falling into what would be considered a religion, and that is scientism. So we just it's going to take a lot, to get to get down, but not trying to. I don't try to sound holier than thou or anything, but it is something that is going to take a gradual time for people to get to. So appreciate everybody hanging out. Like, share, and subscribe, and thumbs up or thumbs down. Interact at least, right? So we will see you all on the flip side. This is Joshua, your host for Authentic Intent. Good night, everybody.